Hello folks, welcome to the Edupedia world and I am Abhinay Gupta. Today again we'll be continuing with the topic, the appointment and qualification of directors. In our immediate preceding lecture, we have covered section 152 subsection 6 and subsection 7 which dealt with rotational, non-rotational and retiring directors. Right? So if you remember, the first basic concept in the lecture was about the total number of directors. And the total number of directors specifically exclude the independent directors and all the nominee directors, whether they are nominated by the central government or nominated by any financial institutions, right? So once you have the total number of directors, in the example that we had taken, we had 20 number of directors in the company, out of which 4 were independent and 2 were nominee directors. So excluding them, we have the total number of directors that will be eligible as 16, right? And then we have, as per the provisions of the section, 2/3, actually more than 2/3 of the total number of directors should be rotational, right? So for our exam purpose, we'll be considering 2/3, right? We'll be giving an assumption that we consider 2/3 of directors to be rotational, right? So 2/3 of 14 we found out was equivalent to 10 directors, and that is always rounded up, right? And then 1/3 among the rotational director would retire in the coming annual general meeting. So that would be 1/3 of 10, which will be equivalent to 3, because over here we will not round it up, we will round it off to the closest integer, right? So I hope you remember the example and you know the calculation very well, right? So that was basically about the rotational directors, and all the other directors who are not rotational would be considered as non-rotational directors. Right? And we have covered in detail the provisions of non-rotational directors too, and what is and what is not applicable on them. Just remember one specific point, that article of association is the major driver of non-rotational directors, right? And then we had seen that retirement would be considered on the FIFO basis, so the first in first out, and if there is a tie, it would be broken by an agreement between the directors, if any, and if in case you don't have an agreement, you would be drawing by lot, and whatever is the result would be binding on all the directors, right? So that was a brief about what we had covered in the previous lecture about the rotational and non-rotational directors under section 152 subsection 6 and subsection 7 of Companies Act 2013, right? So today we'll move ahead to the next topic, which is section 151, the small shareholder directors. And this section will be read along with the Rule 7 of the company's appointment and qualification of directors, Rule 2014. Right? So basically, first what we need to understand in section 151 about the small shareholder directors is who are small shareholders. Right? So what is the limit prescribed in your act, in the Companies Act 2013 as per section 151? What are the limits? Right? What is the bandwidth of small shareholder director? So to be a small shareholder, you will have to hold share of nominal value lower than rupees 20,000. Right? That is the basic requirement. So remember, we are talking about the nominal value and not the paid up value or the market value. Right? So why is nominal value considered very important over here is, suppose you take an example, right? There is a person, there is a shareholder holding around 5,000 shares of a company, right, of rupees 10 each. That is the nominal value of the share, but rupees 2 paid up. So accordingly, the paid up value of these shares would turn out to be rupees 10,000, that is 5,000 into 2, but the nominal value would turn out to be rupees 50,000, which is beyond the bandwidth of small shareholders, right? Because the limit of small shareholder is to hold the shares of nominal value below 20,000 rupees. Hence, this shareholder, Mr. X or Mr. Y, whosoever he was, will not be a small shareholder. Understand? So that is why the paid up value and market value and nominal value are very important concepts. You need to understand that we are always talking about nominal value when we are discussing the small shareholder directors. Right? So this provision would be applicable to every listed company, and that will be irrespective of the paid up share capital, right, or the number of small shareholders in the company. So all the listed companies, whatever be the paid up share capital, whether small company, big company, or having the small shareholders ranging from either 20 small shareholders, 100 small shareholders, 20,000 small shareholders, whatever be the number, whatever be the size, Irrespective of that, on all listed companies, section 151 of Companies Act 2013 would be applicable, right? Now I think it is clear with you as to who are small shareholders, right? There is only one criteria, that they have to be shareholders, and that too holding the shares with nominal value less than rupees 20,000. Now we talk about the small shareholder directors, right? So first, when we are talking about directorship, we need to look into the appointment criteria of that director, right? So if you want to be a small shareholder director, then there has to be a notice given to the company, right? And that notice will be given by either 1,000 shareholders, small shareholders, if there are in the company, or 1/10 of the shareholders, total shareholders, whatever is lower. So for example, if a company has total number of shareholders to be 2,000 shareholders in a company, right? And you have around 500 small shareholders, right? So as per this limit, if 500 small shareholders give a notice, that will not be applicable, because you have to give a notice with the minimum strength of 1,000 shareholders. But the second criteria is that you could give a notice with around 1/10 of the total shareholders. So total shareholders are 2,000, hence 1/10 will be 200. So now if 200 small shareholders give a notice, right? If they give a notice for appointment of Mr. X as the small shareholder director of the company, then that would be eligible notice, right? That would be a valid notice, because they fulfill the criteria as per the section 151. Right? So section 151 says that the notice has to be given by at least 1,000 small shareholders or 1/10 of the total shareholders in the company, whichever is lower, right? So what they give is, they will forward a notice plus a statement in writing, and that would be forwarded to the company, right, within 14 days before the meeting. So at least 14 days in advance, right? So that is the requirement over here. Now when we talk about the notice and the statement, so we need to know what the notice is and who will be signing the notice. So basically the content of the notice would be the particulars of the shareholders and the particulars of the small shareholder director, right? So all the directors all the small shareholders who are actually proposing the directorship of a small shareholder, their name, their address, the number of shares they hold, the folio number of the shares, these are the details of each of that individual, each of the signatory of the notice, right? Such details of all of them would be recorded in the notice. Along with that, the same details of the person who is supposed to be appointed as a small shareholder will also be recorded in the notice, right? But there is one more thing that we need to understand, that here we are talking about all the small shareholders proposing plus the proposed small shareholder director. So is it correct to say that the proposed small shareholder director should be a small shareholder? The answer is no, because section 151 of the Companies Act 2013 lays down the provision that any person can be appointed as a small shareholder director. He need not be a small shareholder of the company. So if he is not a small shareholder, he is not also the shareholder, because even if he holds one share of nominal value rupees 10, he would be a small shareholder, right? Because the act says that any shareholder holding less than 20,000 of the nominal value of share are small shareholders. So even rupee 10 is less than rupees 20,000. So if he is not a small shareholder, means he is not a shareholder at all, right? So if the person, means if he is not even a small shareholder, so if the person who is being proposed as a small shareholder director, if it does not hold any share, right? So what do we fill up in the column of number of shares and folio number? That will be left blank, right? Those details are not to be specified for this person. So a person who himself is not a small shareholder can be appointed as a small shareholder director into a company, right? That is a valid provision. And the statement that we are talking about, that statement would be proposed, that statement would be given by the proposed small shareholder director. So the content of that statement that is signed by the proposed person would be that in the statement he would declare his DIN, the valid DIN. He would give a consent to hold the office of directorship, and he will also give a declaration of non-disqualification. He would declare that the disqualification as per section 164 of the Act are not attracted to him. So these are the three things that will be contained in the statement. So the notice plus the statement in writing would be given to the company. That would be done 14 days before the meeting, right? And then the provisions of Rule 8 would also be applicable to this director, because since he is a director, when he is being appointed, he will have to give that consent in form DIR 2, and then the company would forward that consent to the registrar in form DIR 12, right? That will be done within 30 days from his appointment. So as per the concept of harmonious construction, harmonious interpretation, right, the small shareholder director will also have to abide by the same provisions, right? So that is all about the notice and the statement of the small shareholder director, right? I hope that is very clear with you, how the things are being progressed, right? Now we talk about the appointment. So the notice is given for appointment of the small shareholders. So when the board meeting, the shareholders meeting are being held, the appointment would be left into the hands of the shareholders for voting. So if they allow, if he is voted in the general meeting, he would be the small shareholder director of the company, right? Now, is a notice always important, always compulsory for electing a small shareholder director? We need to think about this topic. Like, okay, we know that we have to give a notice. If we propose a small shareholder director, we'll have to give a notice, we'll have to give a statement. But is this the only procedure? The answer is no. Right? So as per the provisions of section 151, the small shareholder director may also be elected voluntarily by any listed company. That is the provision already applicable to them. Right? They have that power to voluntarily like elect or appoint any small shareholder director. So if the company goes ahead to do it on a voluntary basis, then the notice or the statement would always be required. That is before the appointment, but the notice for appointment would not be required. And any person who is being elected as a small shareholder director cannot be a small shareholder director in more than 2 companies at the same time. Right? So 2 is the maximum limit of holding the office of small shareholder director, right? But again, it is very important to understand how do we select the second company. So that second company in which you are about to be a small shareholder director should not be in a business which is either competing or conflicting with the business of the first company in which you are already a small shareholder director, right? So that is one thing that has to be kept in mind before you choose another company to stand for the directorship of the small shareholders, right? So basically that was all about the small shareholder director, all the provisions of the Act. Now there are certain other provisions also, the miscellaneous provisions that are attracted to them. Now we would look at them, we would pay a little attention to them also. So the other provisions would include that the small shareholder director can also be elected voluntarily. We have already seen that, right? And for that no notice is required. The other is that they are independent directors, hence they are non-rotational. So the small shareholder director, right, they would always be an independent director, right? That means they are not liable to retire by rotation, right? And they would be considered independent director only if they are eligible to be appointed as an independent director, plus they give a disclaimer, right? They give a declaration actually of their independence as per section 149. So if those 2 things are given, they would be elected as an independent director and hence they would be non-rotational, right? But even though when they're not rotational, what would be the tenure for their appointment? Will again they be appointed for life? Can they be appointed for life? The answer is no. The small shareholder directors can be appointed for a period of maximum 3 years at a time, and they will not be reappointed. That is very strict. And once the 3 years tenure is over, they will also not be associated to the company in any manner, directly or indirectly, right? So there would be no association with the company for the next 3 years. right? The other provisions would include the same grounds of disqualification. So since the small shareholder director is also a director, the grounds of disqualification as per section 164 subsection 1 and subsection 2, both of it would also be applicable on the small shareholder directors, right? So all those grounds of being of an unsound mind, undischarged insolvent, adjudicated to be insolvent, convicted by court for moral turpitude, blah blah, etc. Right? We have already done that in the previous lecture. We would not be repeating it, right? And just duplicating the thing. So you know the disqualifications as per section 164. The same disqualifications would be attracted to the shareholder, the small shareholders, right? The small shareholder director. And then there would be other grounds of vacation as well. That is, if he incurs any disqualification as per 164, or if the office becomes vacant pursuant to section 167, that is the vacation of office, and if he ceases to meet the criteria of independence as per section 149 subsection 6. If any of these three things are attracted, he would have to vacate his office, right? And last but not the least, the most important point that we need to remember, because that would be relevant for us in other topics also while we are solving questions in our examination, that the shareholders, the small shareholder director, would also be included in the total number of directors. Right. So if we go back to the previous section that we had discussed in the previous class, and what we have revised in the beginning of the chapter, in the beginning of the lecture, the rotational and non-rotational director. There we had the concept of total number of directors, and we discussed that the total number of directors would exclude the independent directors and the nominee directors. Over there, nowhere we discussed that the small shareholder directors would also be excluded. So hence, the small shareholder directors would be included in the total number of directorship. Only independent director and the nominee directors are excluded. Please keep that in mind, because that will be very relevant for solving questions in the examinations. Right? We have already discussed the various questions on the topic of rotational non-rotational directors, and over there you have seen that you have been asked questions on that. So you have been asked questions frequently from that topic, section 156, subsection 6 and 7, the rotational and non-rotational directors, and that is a very important topic, and for that this thing can be clubbed with it to confuse the students, right? So you need to be very clear as to what directors are included in the total number of directors, right? So that is all about the small shareholder directors that we had to cover. Just remember, he can be a small shareholder director in maximum 2 companies, and the notice is to be given by minimum 1000 or 1/10 of the total number of directors, whichever is lower, right? And the other provisions, I hope you remember it very well. So that is all for the lecture today. We'll continue the other provisions of the other sections later in the upcoming lectures. So until then, this is Abhinay Gupta signing off.